everyone, 2015 is over and well, if you've seen my videos of my top 5 best movies of 2015, great, thank you for watching it. But if you haven't, you can go and check it out right here. This is my list for my top 5 best movies of 2015. Check this video out if you haven't seen it yet, if you missed it. But here, we're going to talk about the not so great of movies. But like I said, in my best list, I am picking the movies that I personally didn't enjoy the least, or more had the one I had the most problems with. This is my personal opinion. And also, I haven't seen every single movie this year, which means don't expect Fantastic to be on this list, because I heard it's bad, I know it's bad, and so I just decided not to waste my time. I haven't seen Fantastic, and I don't think I need to, because everybody else has said everything that needs to be said about this movie. So don't expect Fantastic to be on this list. But there are some movies that I've seen and I may have found disappointing or just didn't like altogether, and we're going to talk about those today. But before we get into that, I want to quickly say that I do have a dishonorable mention, and that is the movie Strange Magic. I actually have seen this movie because I heard it was terrible, but I actually watched this movie, and while it's a bad movie, I have a very unique opinion on it, which is why I'm planning on reviewing it, because I have my own unique thoughts on the movie. But it just didn't make my list because I have 5 movies that I honestly disliked more than Strange Magic. And here they are, starting at number 5. In all honesty, I don't think that Terminator Genisys is an awful movie. It's not even the worst Terminator movie, in my opinion. There are elements I like some of the cast. I liked Sarah Connor, I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger in the movie, but really, that's about it cast-wise. It has some very entertaining action scenes, but pretty much a lot of it was given away in the trailer, if not all of it was given away in the trailer, as well as a terrible plot twist, along with a very dumb and very convoluted story that is impossible to wrap your head around if you've seen the first 4 movies. If you try to connect this one to the rest of the timeline, what happened in the first 4 movies, it's almost impossible. It's really hard to be able to wrap your head around this timeline with the rest of the timeline. This is a very confusing movie, and there are some movies that are confusing, but done it due to clever story writing. This isn't confusing for clever story writing, it's the exact opposite. It's confusing because there are tons of plot holes, lots of unanswered questions, and the movie tries to explain what's going on, but it just makes it more confusing. And even though the characters I kind of like, they're nowhere near as good as the characters from, say, Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Seriously, if you want to watch a good Terminator movie, watch Terminator 2 again. It's a much better movie. Alright, number 4, the 4th worst movie of 2015 is... The sad thing is, I was actually really looking forward to seeing this movie. And I mean, really looking forward. Like, my second most anticipated movie of 2015, right behind Inside Out. And while I really enjoyed it when I first saw it in theaters, it's a movie that actually has been gradually getting worse for me. Like, I saw it a second time and the experience was not as good as the first time. People complain like, oh, it's just another Adam Sandler movie, and now I'm starting to see where it's coming from. The movie's not really that funny. I did not laugh that much watching this movie. I didn't laugh an awful lot. I only laughed at like half of the jokes the first time, and I laughed at the jokes even less than that the second time I watched it. There were 1 or 2 jokes I thought were rather funny, like Adam Sandler asking Kevin James, the President of the United States, on whether or not Adam can sit down in the President's chair or not. I thought that was rather funny, but the movie is just really not that funny. It fails as a comedy. The really sad thing is, though, that the premise for this movie is genius. I swear, if you got this movie and gave it a better story and better characters and made it funnier, like if you just improved, like maybe get a different cast, I swear the movie would be getting a lot more praise than it actually is. I even have a feeling that people are hating on this movie just simply because Adam Sandler and Kevin James are in it. The action was really cool, like the idea, like the movie looks great. It's a very sleek looking movie. the way that aliens, like the way Pac-Man and the Centipede are all animated, it looks really, really cool. When that stuff is happening, like the Pac-Man action sequence, when that stuff is happening, it's really cool. But all the stuff that happens in between, it's just really not that good. And I used to defend Adam Sandler movies. I actually thought that Grown Ups 2 was a hilarious movie. But now I'm starting to agree with you guys. I wish I could still defend Adam Sandler. I wish I could still say that I loved this movie. Unfortunately, I'm starting to see why everyone hates Adam Sandler so much now. I really can. Alright, now number 3, the third worst movie of 2015 is... A lot of people were actually really excited to see this movie. I even have a friend of mine who said that this was the most anticipated movie of the year. I don't hate the idea of the Despicable Me movies. My family actually likes the Despicable Me movies, myself included. We actually got the first Despicable Me movie on Blu-ray. We actually do enjoy the Despicable Me movies. Well, the first one at least. But the movie isn't really that funny. Like, the Minions, all they do is just go and the story... Sandra Bullock, what are you doing in this movie? Sandra Bullock, you are actually a great actor. You have been in some fantastic movies. Want an example?
Alright, so remember, just stay above 50.
So you're a cop, right?
Yes.
Alright, well I just thought that you should know that I'm taking the bus because I got my driver's license revoked.
What for?
Speeding. That was a quote from the movie Speed, by the way, which I would rather be watching. There was one joke that made me laugh, and it was a very subtle Back to the Future reference, because there was this doctor who went, "No, I am not looking for another assistant because my name is Dr. Flux and I built a time machine." Haha, flux capacitor reference, and you built a time machine. You're obviously referencing Back to the Future, which, again, I would rather be watching. Not to mention the trailers for the movie was awful. The trailers told you everything except for the climax. And again, I just don't find this movie funny. That's really just because the nature of the Minions don't belong in full hour-and-a-half long movies. This is just one of those movies that you should put on just to keep your toddler quiet. Alright, the second one. The second worst movie of 2015. Now, I'm immediately going to say that this next selection is going to probably upset a lot of people. But, this is my list. My opinions. So I'm allowed to say that my second worst movie of 2015 is... This is by far the most overrated movie of 2015, and now I know it's kind of ironic that I'm talking about this movie and I'm wearing an Avengers shirt. I actually kind of planned that. But, I'm sorry, I just don't like Avengers Age of Ultron. Now, I actually watched this movie with my entire family, and I'm the one who likes it the most. And when my sister finished watching it, she was like, it was one of the boringest movies I've seen in a while. Like, it was such a boring movie, I did not like it. At first I tried defending it, but now I agree with her. For starters, the way the movie was color corrected, like the color correction, the direction of the way the movie looks, it's a very dull looking movie. It's dark, it's gritty, it's really just not that pleasant. There were a couple of awesome moments, which I won't give away, but overall, I just felt like the movie was very dull and very uncreative, it just wasn't fun. Like, where's the fun? It lost a sense of fun and that enjoyment that I got from the original Avengers. Now, I will admit, there are actually aspects of the original Avengers I thought was kind of boring. I actually thought the second act was rather boring of the Avengers. So in some circumstances, I think the first one is kind of overrated. But I still got the original Avengers on DVD, and I do watch it from time to time. The climax was fun, the overall action was pretty fun. It's just that there was one or two elements, like the second act, that was just a little bit boring for me. It's just not fun to watch because it's dark, it's not pleasant, it lacks humor, it's not delightful at all. And it's taking itself way too seriously. I honestly miss the Sam Raimi Spider-Man days. I would rather watch any of these movies. Yes, that includes Spider-Man 3. And the biggest offender, Ultron sucked. I'm sorry, but Ultron is a really terrible villain. And here's why. Well, we have a villain, like we've got this group, like some people decide to create this really big special power computer program, and it's going to sort of help mankind to sort of stop the world from ending. Like, we want to help mankind by creating this special computer program. However, it gets out of hand considering it becomes self-aware, and as it becomes self-aware, it decides to consider the human race as a threat and tries to end the entire human race as we know it in the form of a human-sized killer cyborg. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Did the writers of this movie seriously just watch the Terminator movies and go, alright, for our villain, we'll just make this computer program Skynet. We'll do the exact same thing, we'll just change the name and the look of the T-800 sort of, and it will be completely different and everyone will love him. I hate Ultron. I'm sorry, but I just do not think that this is a good movie. If you like it, that's fine. But I just don't. But I'll tell you, I would rather watch this movie 5 times in a row or so than watch the #1 worst movie of 2015, which is... Why? Just why, DreamWorks? You made good movies. Like, okay, Peapod in German was kind of divisive, and Penguins of Madagascar was, again, rather divisive. But How to Train Your Dragon 2, the Kung Fu Panda movies, and you've got this? I'm sorry, DreamWorks. Really, I am. Alright, maybe I should explain myself. Why do I really not like this movie? For starters, just like Pixels, the movie is not funny. I don't think the humor is very funny, and I've seen this movie a couple times, and yes, again, the experience has been worse. We've also got Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory playing as Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory, only in the form of an alien and not as funny. Seriously, Sheldon Cooper from Big Bang Theory is funnier than Sheldon Cooper from Home. I refuse to say the actor's name because it's the same guy, only in the form of an alien. And it's got a rather obnoxious talking gimmick. Can I come to the out now? And the animation is, in my opinion. Like, I just don't like the design choices. The overall environment was pretty good, but I just don't like the design of the aliens. Really, I just don't like their design. A complaint I heard is that the pacing was pretty sloppy, and I honestly do agree. The movie is just rather all over the place. And honestly, I would rather watch all 4 of these movies that I've recently just already mentioned than watch this, because Home is, in my opinion, the worst movie of 2015. But that might change if I ever watch Fantastic, which I don't plan to. So that's my list of my top 5 worst movies of 2015, but what are yours? Please let me know in the comments below. But until then, hasta la vista, baby. Now if you excuse me, I'm going to go and watch Inside Out again.